is Sandhya. I'm back with another chapter. Today we will continue with geography of class 10th and the chapter which we will discuss is agriculture. Dear children, two-thirds of India's population is engaged in agricultural activities. Agriculture is a primary activity which produces most of the food raw materials for various industries. In this chapter, agriculture, we will learn about the various types of farming, cropping patterns, and major crops grown in India. In the end, we will know how much agriculture contributes to the national economy, employment, and output. Let us move on to the topic. In the process of agriculture, plants get transformed into different finished products. This process involves economic activities of three different types. These activities can be divided as primary activities, secondary activities, and tertiary activities. Dear children, under primary activity, all these jobs which are connected with production and extraction of natural resources are involved. Few of the examples of such activities are gathering, agriculture, and fishing. Children, processing of these natural resources is classified under secondary activity. Weaving of cloths, manufacturing of steel, along with backing of brick is an example of such activities. With the help of services, territory activities provide services and support to primary and secondary activities. Advertising, transport, banking, trade, and insurance are example of such activities. Dear children, let us move on to the topic. Today's our topic agriculture. Dear children, agriculture is a crucial example of primary activity. As we discussed this activity involves process such as growing flowers, fruits, vegetables, and crops, and rearing of different livestock, animals such as sheep, camels, etc. Children, around 50% of the population across the globe is involved in agriculture activity, especially in India. Two-thirds of Indian population is still involved in agriculture. In order to carry out agriculture activity successfully, favorable topography involves climate and soil, as we discussed these things in previous chapter. And arable land is a type of land where crops of various types are grown. Dear children, do you know about agriculture, sericulture, and viticulture, pisciculture, and horticulture? Did you remember these things we discussed in previous classes, 6th and 7th classes? Children, agriculture, the art and science of carrying of cultivation of the soil and rearing livestock such as sheep and rising crops is known as agriculture. Farming is another name for agriculture. Then what about sericulture? The rearing of silkworms in order to carry out rearing for commercial purposes. It helps to supplement a farmer's income. Then what about viticulture? When farmers rear grapes for commercial purposes, it is called viticulture. Then what about pisciculture? When farmers rear grape breed in ponds and tanks, especially for that purpose, it is also commercial purpose. It is called pisciculture. Then what about horticulture? When fruits, vegetables or flowers are grown for commercial purpose. Then what about farming system? Children, farming or agriculture is also identified as a system. Few of the important inputs of agriculture are machinery, seeds and fertilizers and labor. Weeding, plugging, sowing and harvesting and irrigation are some of the important operations involved in the process of agriculture. And dairy, crops, wool and poultry are some of the outputs of this system. Dear children, now let us discuss about types of farming. Dear children, there are different ways to practice farming across the world based on the availability of technology, labor, geographical conditions, demands of produce. Farming is classified into different categories: subsistence farming, commercial farming. Then, what about subsistence farming? In order to meet the needs of the family of a farmer, this type of farming is like household labors along with the technology of low level are used to produce output on a small scale. This type of farming is further classified into two categories. And what are those? One is intensive subsistence agriculture. Here, the farmers take the help of more labor and tools of small size in order to cultivate his plot of land. Small in size. Few farmers are able to grow more than one crop in the same land in case the climate manages to have sunshine for a greater number of days and the soil manages to remain fertile. The most important crop is rice. The example of the crops are maize and pulses and wheat. Like intensive subsistence agriculture is mainly practiced in areas which have a thick population such as East, Southeast and South Asia. And these areas mainly receives rainfall during the season of monsoon. Then what about primitive subsistence agriculture? It consists of nomadic herding and shifting cultivation. Dear children, the practice of nomadic herding is prevalent in arid as well as semi-arid regions of Central Asia and Sahara Desert regions. In India, this system is prevalent in Jammu and Kashmir along with Rajasthan. In the process of nomadic farming, a herdsman travels with his livestock from one place to another in a well-defined route in order to get water and food. Dear children, some of the commonly reared livestock animals are yak, sheep, camel and goats. Herders along with their families gets hide, milk, wool, meat and other items for these livestock animals. And farmers usually practice shifting cultivation in regions such as tropical Africa and northeast India, Amazon basin and certain part of southeast India. Dear children, these regions have thick forest and get heavy rainfalls and vegetation could be regenerated very quickly. In this process, the herders clear a piece of land by cutting all the trees and then they burnt it. Then they mix it ashes along with the soil of that region. Crops such as cassava, maize and potatoes and yams are mostly cultivated. As the soil starts losing its fertility after one or two crops are cultivated on that piece of land, farmers abandon that land. They move to a new piece of land Another name for shifting cultivation is slash and burn agriculture, and it is known by different names in different places across the world. In Mexico, it is known as milpa. In Brazil, it is known as roca. In Northeast India, it is known as juming. And Malaysia, it is known as lading. Dear children, what about primitive subsistence farming means? This type of farming is practiced in few pockets of India on small patches of land using primitive tools and family community labor. Farmers clear a patch of land and produce cereals and other food crops to sustain their families only. When the soil fertility decreases, the farmers shift and clear a fresh patch of land for cultivation. This type of shifting allows nature to replenish the fertility of the soil through natural processes. Land productivity is low as the farmers does not use fertilizers or other modern inputs. Then what about intensive? It is practiced in a area of high population pressure on land. It is labor intensive farming. Yield per hectare is high become high. It's dozens of biochemical inputs and irrigation are used. The size of the land holding is small and uneconomical. Farmers take maximum outputs from the limited land by raising 2 to 3 crops in a year from the same land. Multi-cropping is practicing. Then what about commercial farming? In order to sell the products obtained from the region of animals and growing of certain crops, commercial farming is performed. Children, the amount of capital involved in this process and the area where it is cultivated is in a large amounts. Machines are used to carry out most of the works. These are three types of commercial farmings. Here they are categorized. Commercial grain farming. In this process, the farmers grow crops for commercial purposes. Few of examples of the commercial purpose grown grains are maize and wheat. Some of the major regions where farmers practiced this type of farming on a large scale or temperate grasslands of Asia. These areas have large farms that are spread over hundreds of acres and have spare populations. Children, however, the farming is restricted during the winter seasons as the winters are harsh. Due to this, the farmers grow only a single crop throughout the year. Then what about mixed farming? The farmers use the land in order to grow fodder and food crops. Along with this, they also rear livestock. And mixed farming is carried out in regions such as Argentina, Europe, Southeast Asia, and New Zealand. Then what about plantation farming? In this type of commercial farming, the farmers grow a single crop of sugarcane, coffee, cashew nuts, tea, cotton, rubber, or banana. This process needs labor and capital in a large amount. One may process the products at the farm or even use the nearby factories. The areas where such farming carried out need to have is transport network developed. It is very important thing. One can spot the major plantation regions around the tropical areas of the planet. Few of the examples of such plantation farmings are tea in Sri Lanka and India in coffee, Brazil in rubber. Dear children, now let us discuss about characteristics of plantation agriculture. Dear children, a single type of crop is grown on large area. Plantation is carried out on large estates using a lot of capital intensive units. And lot of migrant laborers work on these estates. The plantation has an interforce of agriculture and industry. All the produces is used as raw materials in the respective industries. The production is mainly for the market. Commercial agriculture divided into Rabi, Kharif and Zaid are the three cropping seasons. Let us discuss those things now. Rabi crops, winter crops. Observe the here Rabi crop, winter crop planted in November, harvested in April. And Zaid planted in March, harvested in June. And Kharif monsoon crops planted in June, harvested in October. When it comes to the Rabi crop, it's a winter season, sown in winter, October to December. Harvesting in summer, April to June. What are the important crops in this season? Wheat, barley, mustard, peas and gram, etc. Then whether it comes to Kharif crops, crops of the rainy season. And once of monsoon, June to July, harvested September to October. Important crops in this time: rice, maize, millets, jar, cotton, jute and groundnuts. Then what about Jaid? It is a short cropping season during summer months, mainly between March to April and June to July. Main crops: watermelons, muskmelons, cucumber, etc. Major crops: India. Food crops and other than grains, horticulture groups. Food crops: rye, wheat and millet. Here sugarcane, oil seeds, coffee and fruits and vegetables. Dear children, the global population has seen a large growth rate in the last few decades. In order to feed the growing number of stomachs, farmers across the world grow different varieties of crops. The crops are also grown in order to get raw materials for those industries which are agro-based. Crops such as maize, rice, millets and wheat are some of the food crops grown in large scale. Cotton and jute are example of fiber crops. The example of widely used beverage crops are coffee and tea. Let us discuss about rice. A large section of the world population eats rice as their basic food. Hence, it is considered a major food crop. Usually, people residing in subtropical and tropical regions consume a lot of rice. In order to grow rice, a region must have high rainfall and humidity and high temperature as well. Usually, the alluvial clay soil is best to grow rice as it is the leading producer of rice across the world. And other major countries that grow rice are like not only India, Sri Lanka, Japan and Egypt. The regions such as Bangladesh and West Bengal have certain favorable climatic conditions due to which farmers are available to grow 2 to 3 crops in a year. Another, wheat. A region must have moderate rainfall and temperature during the harvest season of the crop. Loamy soil which has been drained well is good for wheat. Children, crops such as wheat can thrive well when sown in such a soil. The USA is the major producer of wheat followed by remaining countries, but winter is the best season to grow wheat in India. Then when it comes to millets, these crops are an example of Kharis grains. They can be easily grown in sandy soil are those soils which are less fertile. Millets need adequate temperature and less rainfall to grow. And ragi, java and bajra are examples of millet crops which are grown in our country, and Nigeria and China are few of the other countries that grow millets. Then it comes to maize. To grow maize, the farmers need moderate rainfall as well as temperature with sunshine in adequate amounts. The soil that is being utilized to grow maize should be fertile and drained well. Farmers from different countries such as Mexico, North America, not only India, these countries also grow maize. Then it comes to cotton. Those farmers who grow cotton need to have light rainfall, bright sunshine, high temperature, and at least 210 days should be free from frost. Alluvial soil and black soil are best for growing cotton. India a leading producer of cotton. Then jute. Earlier, this plant used to be known as golden fiber. Alluvial soil is considered best to grow jute. One needs heavy rainfall, high temperature and humid climate in order to cultivate jute as a crop. Bangladesh and India are two of the major producers of this crop. Children, let us discuss about non-food crops. Children, up to now we discussed about food crops, and here non-food crops. Children, rubber is one of the non-food crop. It is an equatorial crop, but under special conditions it requires moist and humid climate with rainfall of more than 200 centimeters and temperature above 24 centimeter. And fiber crops, cotton, jute, hemp and natural silk are the four major fiber crops grown in India. Children, rearing of silkworms for the production of silk fiber is known as sericulture, as we discussed previous. And cotton, India is believed to be the original home of the cotton plant. In 2008, India was second largest producer of cotton after China. Dear children, another thing, jute, it is known as the golden fiber. It is losing markets to synthetic fibers and packing materials, and particularly the nylon. Then children, what are the technological and institutional reforms in agriculture sector? Let us discuss these things now. The government of India embarked upon introducing agriculture in the 1960s and 1970s. The government also announces minimum support price and remuneratives and procurement price for important crops. Dear children, the pain of agriculture development and agriculture which provides a livelihood for more than 60%. The government of India embarked upon introducing agriculture in the 1960s and 1970s. The government also announces minimum support price and remunerative and procurement price for important crops, and consolidation of holding cooperative and abolition of zamindari, etc. were given priority to bring about institutional reforms in the country after independence. Children, the Green Revolution based on the use of package technology and the White Revolution like Operation Flood were some of the strategies initiated to improve a lot of Indian agriculture. Land reforms was the main focus of our first 5 years plan. Development in few selected areas in the 1980s and 1990s, a comprehensive land development program was initiated which includes both institutional and technological reforms. Provisions for crop insurance against drought, flood, cyclones, fire and diseases. And establishment of Grameen banks, cooperative societies and banks for providing loan facilities to the farmers at lower rate of interest. Kisan credit cards and personal accident insurance schemes introduced, and special weather bulletins and agriculture programs for farmers were introduced on radio and TVs. The government also announced this minimum support price and remunerative and procurement price for important crops to check the exploitation of farmers by specular and middleman. Dear children, now let us discuss about contributions of agriculture to the national economy, employment. Role of agriculture. Dear children, gross domestic product has reduced to declining trend from 1951 onwards. The population continues to be as high as 63% in 2001. The government of India made concerned efforts to modernize agriculture in India. India made concerted efforts to modernize agriculture, establishment of Indian Council of Agriculture. The growth rate in agriculture is decelerating, which is an alarming situation. Agriculture, backbone of Indian economy, shares in the gross domestic products and providing employment. Not only this, livelihood to the population, and the government of India made concrete efforts to modernize agriculture. And not only this, establishment of Indian Council of Agricultural Research, agricultural universities also, and veterinary services and animal breeding centers. Horticulture developments, not only this, research and development in the field of meteorology and weather, forest. Then how it is converted into a food security? Let us discuss these things now. The number of people who do not have food security is disproportionately large in some regions of our country, particularly in economically less developed states with the higher incidence of poverty. Dear children, the number of people who do not have food security is disproportionately large in some regions of our country, particularly in economically less developed state with a higher incidence of poverty. The focus of the policy is on fixing the support price for procurement of wheat and rice to maintain their stocks. Food Corporations of India. Children, the FCI produces food grains from the farmers at the government announced minimum support price. The competition for land between non-agriculture users such as housing, etc. The farmers are badly affected by the uncertainty of production and markets. The higher the supply, the lower is the demand. The collective efforts that are made in order to meet the increasing food demands of the growing population so that farm production could be increased is called agriculture development. The various ways to increase the agriculture development in a particular region, the number of crops is grown, crop areas are being increased, irrigation facilities are being improved, introduction of high yield varieties of uses. And not only this, uses of good quality fertilizers, another important aspect in order to boost agriculture development is mechanization of agriculture. Its ultimate goal is to increase food security. Then What are the impact of globalization on agriculture? Let us discuss this now. Globalization is not a new phenomenon. It was there at the time of colonization. Till today, it is one of the important item of export for India. Dear children, globalization is not a new phenomenon. It was there at the time of colonization. Cotton textile industry in Manchester and Liverpool flourished due to the availability of goods quality cotton from India. The Champaran movement, which started in 1970s in Bihar under globalization, particularly after 1919, the farmers in India have been exposed to new challenges. There are different ways to practice agriculture in different places across the world, and depending on temperature, climate, rainfall, and types of soil found in an area, it is decided which crop would be grown. The developing countries mostly register a high growth rate in population in these places. Intensive agriculture is practiced at high rate. Farmers grow different crops as small holdings for the purpose of subsistence mostly. Countries such as Australia, USA, and Canada are made to have larger holdings to carry out commercial practices. Children, last but not least, being a good student is less about the ability to read and more about the desire to learn. Dear children, we know that due to COVID pandemic, the whole world is struggling. So I started video lectures. It is easy to connect with you all, and this will help us to cover the syllabus and to maintain the flow of study. You must take advantage of this opportunity. Dear children, learning will continue even during this crisis. Stay tuned for more video lectures on social science. Keep learning. Stay safe. Have a nice day. Thank you.